It looks like Laker fans can stop sweating on the future of LeBron James. Yesterday, that man signed a 2-year, $97 million extension to stay with the Lakers. That extension includes a 15% trade kicker, meaning if you trade for the man, you got to pay an extra 15%. This also means that, I guess by the time his contract comes up, it also includes a player option. By the time his contract comes up, his son, Bronny, could potentially be drafted in the same summer. This also means that LeBron James now is the highest all-time career earner in regards to NBA contracts in league history. He has $532 million now in that regard, past Kevin Durant, who's at $499 million. So I guess, we as the people can stop worrying if LeBron's just going to leave next summer. That speculation is done. But LeBron is still adamant that the Lakers continue to add talent and supposedly trade for Kyrie Irving. Now, I don't know if that deal gets done or not, because Brooklyn, has come out and said that, we're not moving Kyrie Irving until we move Kevin Durant first. He's main priority. And there's no telling if or when that happens. If all of this is true. So we do know that the Lakers currently constructed are probably not winning a championship. We know that they are very volatile, though. And it all goes back to health, first and foremost, chemistry, and playing style. Anthony Davis has to be healthy. If you can get Anthony Davis to play 70 games next year, then, the Lakers are not a pushover. The Lakers could be a threat with Anthony Davis on the court alone. That's number one. Number two, another thing that needs to happen, like I mentioned, chemistry. Russell Westbrook still on the team with LeBron James. Both pretty ball dominant. Even though LeBron can play off the ball a lot better than Russell Westbrook. But as we know, LeBron makes better plays, better decisions with the ball than Russell Westbrook. And if the offense going through Anthony Davis, like I mentioned before, he has to be on the court for that to happen. Just a whole new agenda here. And which goes back to the third thing I said, playing style. So how are we playing this? Are we doing pick and roll, pick and pop? Is Anthony Davis posting up down low, high post? How are we doing pin downs? Like, what are we doing with Anthony Davis here? I mean, I agree the offense should run through Anthony Davis because, he has the most offensive elite skill set on the Lakers. He is definitely a game changer when he actually plays and plays motivated and not playing soft. He still has that label on him, but it seems like Darvin Ham is getting guys to buy in to a greater good so the team could be successful. That's the appeal that it feels like. We'll see when the season starts how that works, but I guess on paper and in theory, the blueprint is for the Lakers to look a lot differently with the main core players that they have. But nevertheless, you got LeBron at least for 2 more years. If I'm not mistaken, Anthony Davis contract could be up at that point too. So in 2 years, we're going to see how all of this plays out. LeBron would be 38 in December. It's a tough Western Conference. Man, next year's definitely gonna be interesting. I feel like each year is getting more and more interesting how all of this is playing out. Warriors defending champs, and they weren't even at 100% whatsoever. The Clippers, that's the team. That's the team. That's the team that is going to put a monkey wrench in a lot of people's dreams. If healthy, I think that team makes some real noise. We got Denver coming back at full strength with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. You got Minnesota. Now, that one right there, I know with the Rudy Gobert thing, you know, got him and Towns down there in the league. That's floor spacing. But let me tell you. I mean, they went against the grain. But that's going to be a tough team to put out. Because you got two of the top 5 centers on the same team. Karl Anthony Towns can definitely do a lot more. Well, a lot less pressure on defense now. And the main kicker in all of this is the growth of Anthony Edwards. That's the one right there that makes this thing go round and round and round. Like, Anthony Edwards is the real deal. And you still got Phoenix. They have the same team. They're no pushover. But it all depends on, you know, what kind of Chris Paul do we see? Do we see the ones for the first 2 years before the playoffs? Or do we see the Chris Paul in the last 5 to 7 games in the playoffs after his birthday? That's the difference. You got Dallas. Dallas is coming. Luka letting y'all know he's the real deal. You got that. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of different things happening. So I am curious to see where the Lakers end up, how this all plays out in the next 2 years. I know LeBron wants to add number 5. Him and Curry tie for 4. But man, the path for him to get number 5 is a lot more difficult right now. A lot more difficult. Man. But I know we're talking about players that actually, you know, playing games. Not sure if you all saw this. This was kind of like trending yesterday, and I was in disbelief when I saw it. But to a player that really doesn't play that much, Ben Simmons, yesterday, or I'm assuming it was yesterday, this man just in the mall, just shopping. I guess him and a couple dudes and his entourage, bodyguards, whatnot. Some fan pulls up to him, talking about my favorite guard, Russell Westbrook. He kept calling him Russell Westbrook. Talking about, man, you can't shoot, bro. You can't shoot. Can't shoot. He just kept clowning Ben Simmons. Ben just looking at him like, you can't be serious. Over here trying to dap him up. Like, bruh, he just kept going in. I mean, I'm in disbelief because, like, yeah, I'm laughing. But at the same time, it's like, now you know darn well Ben Simmons can't do anything physically to you whatsoever without being sued. So it's like, you can, you know, come at an NBA player, come at an athlete or a celebrity just like this with no repercussions, because, you know, on the other end, if they did anything, then they'll be at fault and they would pay the price legally. So it's like, yeah, I get it. Ben Simmons has a bad rep right now. The man refuses to shoot. the man refuses to play, quote unquote. But it's some things you just don't do, and I feel like this here is just one of them. Even though it's funny, but you still don't do it, man. Leave Ben or Russell Westbrook alone, and it's So not only Ben Simmons gets trolled here, Russell Westbrook, who ain't did anything, he gets thrown on the bus too. So it's a double whammy. Definitely a double whammy there. All right, so there's another player that ended up with a contract extension here. But we're talking about a different sport at this point. This goes by the name of Derwin James, safety of the Chargers. Now, if you know who Derwin James is, you know that he is a sensational talent at that position. He is definitely cream of the crop when it comes to safeties in the NFL right now. But you also know that he's been injured quite a bit. I don't know if the man even played a full 16 or 17 games in his career. He might have once. Other than that, I mean, the man's hardly on the field. But if you compare this to the Roquan Smith situation, so Roquan generally healthy, he plays, he's putting up all these numbers. But here's the thing, the Bears are not in a winning situation. My team's not in a winning situation whatsoever. The Chargers, on the other hand, they re-signed Mike Williams. They made sure, Justin Herbert has weapons. They signed J.C. Jackson, who was arguably the best corner available this year in free agency. They traded for Khalil Mack from my team. Basically, the Chargers are going all in. So even though Derwin James has been often injured, and the best ability is availability, this one right here for them makes sense because they're going all in. So you have to roll the dice on this. You have to pay this man. Because if you get Derwin James healthy, say he plays at least 14 games this year, if you got Khalil Mack, showing signs of what he was about 3-4 years ago, if you got J.C. Jackson playing anything like he has been playing the past couple of years, if you get Mike Williams to play like he did last year and not get hurt, if you get Austin Eckler continue his production and stay healthy, yeah, I know this is, a bunch of, health and productivity, ifs, but that's the point. Because if you catch it, lightning in the bottle, and it's a perfect storm, the Chargers are running it up. Chargers are a legitimate threat. Because at that point, you count on Justin Herbert to continue his progression like he has been on a pretty high trajectory here. And so, I mean, they could be right in the AFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. To me, the Chargers on paper has a more talented roster than the Cincinnati Bengals, who just went to the Super Bowl, who was just maybe a half second to a second away from actually winning the Super Bowl, had it not been for Aaron Donald. So, yeah. And it's, funny that, Burrow and Herbert are part of the same quarterback class. So yeah, that makes all the sense in the world for the Chargers to do that extension at this point. The timeline says they have to. So, yeah, Derwin James is now the highest paid safety. He gets $19.1 million on average annual. Second is Minkah Fitzpatrick, $18.4. Third is Jamal Adams, $17.7. Fourth is Harrison Smith at $16. And fifth is Justin Simmons at $15.3. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. I still like the Raiders in that division. That division has the potential to send 4 teams to the playoffs. I guess for me, the kicker is, does Kansas City still have enough? And I think even if they don't, I feel like their pedigree will keep them. Their knowing how to win will keep them, in the playoff hunt. And then the other part is, can Russell Wilson and the Broncos actually take that next step? New coach, new scheme, new quarterback, all for the better. Can they put it together so quickly? That's the only other thing. If everything I said happens, then yeah, all 4 teams can go to the playoffs. So I'm a firm believer that the Raiders will, and I believe the Chargers can do enough. They have enough. So yeah, we'll see there. And then lastly, just going back to the NBA, this is one of those, I guess, did you know? And it caught me off guard, and I had to fact checked it myself, because some of the things that's shared on social media is definitely not true. But did you know that Andrew Wiggins, the forward for the defending champs, the Golden State Warriors, has more career points than probably future Hall of Famer Kawhi Leonard in his career? Andrew Wiggins has 11,519. Kawhi Leonard has 11,085. So yeah, let that sink in. All right, this is my time for today. Continue to rock with your boy right here on the No Offense Radio and the No Offense Network. Check out your boy on social media at JGoodWithSports. Talking about Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Hey, I'm back podcasting this weekend. Early Morning Sports Talk Podcast, live Saturday mornings on Facebook. Also, the Early Mornings, the Destination Fantasy Podcast on Sunday for fantasy football. But, all right, y'all. Peace out. Much love. See you soon. Peace.